Okay, so let's talk. I've been spending some time over the last couple of days jotting down my thoughts on what's been happening in the US in an attempt to sort of understand why and in order to express a clear view. A number of my friends have pointed out over the last couple of days that I've been a lot more vocal on social media about this than I normally would. But clearly people aren't talking about this enough to make it stop, and it needs to stop. One thing that I found quite amazing is that a lot of people believe that the issue of racism is localized, that you only find it in specific situations and in specific locations, and in this case, the US. I've also had a number of conversations this week with friends of mine who have said, I'm glad that it doesn't happen here. As much as I love being British and I'll sing the national anthem and sing Swing Low Sweet Chariot like any other rugby fan, the view that racism is localised and specific truly irks at me. Unfortunately, racism is not specific, it is societal. And it's ingrained into people's mindsets. It's an issue that I faced consistently throughout my life, despite being fortunate enough to go to a great school, a top-ranked university, and work at an amazing organisation, which incredibly for many people is still not enough. As I think about what's happening in the US, it's clear as day to me that some people are just nasty. And our leaders need to take a more heavy-handed approach to rooting out these individuals that carry out these callous acts. But there's also a concept that rings true in this moment, and it's the concept of unconscious bias. Unconscious bias is a topic that I've been reading up on a lot in the last few weeks. And these are learned stereotypes that are automatic, deeply ingrained, and at times unintentional, that influences people's behaviors and thought processes. Now, ask yourself the question, what makes me as a black man, or frankly any other type of minority, more dangerous or less valuable, less lovable, less respectable, less trustworthy, less employable, just simply less than anyone else? The simple answer to that is nothing. Look, we, and I intentionally use the collective we, need to challenge what has now become the norm in our society. The second uncomfortable theme that has emerged this week is one of blame, pointing the finger at the black community and suggesting that all that has happened in some way is a function of black people's own doing. There are a lot of people who have said to me that, and it's amazing, a lot of people that continue to believe that the black community don't help themselves. The level of an individual's myopia, in my view, to have this opinion is simply outstanding. Frankly, it is utter nonsense. Now, I'm going to be the first to agree that no community is perfect, but the history of black people in the Western world is dark, and you'll be hard-pressed to suggest that this is our fault. Now, honestly, I think it's time that people stop making excuses and actively stand up and say, enough is enough. There's a quote that everyone knows, but I think it's true now, that the only thing that's necessary for the triumph of evil is for good people to do nothing. Now, I've been stopped and searched multiple times over the years, but I'll never forget the first time that it happened. I was heading home from school and I was picked up on the road and questioned for fitting the description of an individual that carried out a crime on the other side of town. After being forced to empty my bags, having my pockets pulled out and answering what now seems to be a ridiculous set of questions, I was eventually let go once the officers saw my school badge. My school badge. After crying my way home, I will never forget what my mum told me that night. She said that I had to be beyond reproach in everything I do, everything I say, in how I say it, in the way I look, to protect myself and stop people from judging me before they know me. As much as I understand why she said that, and I hold on to a lot of that advice even now, do I want my children to live and grow up in a world where self-expression is punished? Now, at the risk of boring everyone, let me finish here. Yes, I've been fortunate enough to get to a position where I can give advice to young black men looking to move into professional life and better themselves and provide for their families. And I'm truly blessed to say that's happened. And as we collectively work to sort of change the world in which we live in, my advice is not easy, but it's pretty simple. Be better than the world expects you to be. Educate yourself, work harder than those around you. Aim high and don't be afraid of failure. Don't give up. Believe that you can do more, be more, and lift up those that are coming up behind you. And finally, if there is any way that you think I can help you in your journey, you know where I am.